believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe the double standard will ever go away for the simple fact that everybody it's like you said, it's biology, it's human nature. We all have different opinions, and no matter what you try to do, like, you can't pass a law saying everybody must think this way. There's always going to be some controversy, whether for example, uh what was one of the examples that we mentioned? The women marrying, an old guy just to get money. If men were to start doing that, it would be like everyone just wouldn't be for it. Not everyone, but
It would go against the grain because it's not the norm.
Because it's not the norm, because the man is supposed to be the head honcho. Right. So why would he stoop down to marry an old lady? Just he's gonna be called lazy. Just like, what are you doing? They're gonna look at him like, okay, what's wrong here? But if a woman does it, it's like, okay, she has to do what she has to do because it's what she was made for.
And that's the whole argument I've been seeing online with the whole Cardi B thing. Like, people are making excuses like, oh, she was doing what she had to do. But if you're gonna, to me, you can have your opinion. I don't, whatever your opinion is, sure.
You're allowing me to have my own opinion?
Not you. I'm just saying, people in general, you're allowed to have your own opinion, but don't. Well, how can I say this? You can have your own opinion, but if you're gonna have an opinion about one thing and preach about keeping that same energy, you need to have that across the board.
Right.
People like to flip flop, and that's not to say you can't grow and develop, but you can't. I mean, we all are hypocrites to an extent, but you can't turn right around and have that a completely opposite opinion of one thing
based on who the person is.
Exactly.
So my take on the whole Cardi B situation is, I like to see things objectively. Like, yes, I will always have my opinion, but you can't form an opinion without completely understanding the other side. It is what I believe. So when I believe something is wrong no matter who did it. If it was Bill Cosby, if it was Cardi B, I don't think it's okay to drug another person and take their stuff. Just like I don't think it's okay to drug another person and take advantage of them. Mm-hmm. Now, I can see where people, you can't compare drugging someone and taking their monetary belongings to drugging someone and taking advantage of them, like physically.
Right.
That's two different. Again, I do believe that drugging someone is something that you shouldn't do, no matter what the situation is. But they're both wrong in different ways.
Right.
People love to compare God to the devil, and it's like, you shouldn't. It's like day and night. How are you going to compare something
that's a polar opposite? What bothers me the most is people are so, and especially with social media, it's just everybody's so damn tribal, and it's like with everything, and I mean everything. Like, people are so tribal with Cardi B. It's either you love Cardi B or you can't stand her, and everybody who loves her, she can't do no wrong, even though what she did was completely wrong. People are gonna defend her to the death, and then if you hate Cardi B, it's like you want to crucify her for what she did. Although, in a sense, nobody really got. I mean, I don't know if anybody got hurt really, but you drug people and took all their stuff, regardless of how you feel about it.
There's a lot of stuff that, what kind of drugs she used. Did that have any secondary effects on their body? And it's traumatizing. Like, I wouldn't want something put in my body without me being made aware of, like, no matter what the situation.
For sure. And, it's funny. I wanted to get back to this is we all went out last night, and me, you, there's 6 of us. Me, you, Arlene, Keem, A-Rod, Precious. And it's like, was talking about this with A-Rod, and I was saying how, you know, what's crazy is the fact that we have people who like Keem and I didn't, when we're around you guys, and you know, we're around a ton of people, we're not sitting there like, I wonder who we're not like, I wonder if anybody's gonna drug or drink, or I wonder if anybody's gonna try to take advantage of us. As men, we don't think, not a second comes across our mind thinking about that. I was having this conversation with Keem, how we were walking down, you know, in Okinawa, there's, at nighttime it's just like alleys, like the whole, all the streets are just high rises and alleys. And I was talking to him, and what was going through our mind is like, man, if I were to get jumped right now, or if this were to happen right now, and then we try to think on what do women think in that same environment, and it's like, damn, what if I were to oh, that's what it was, I'm sorry. Keem was saying, damn, these girls walk these streets all the time. They're very like little, they're petite. I can't imagine them being that strong, in the sense of, if a guy really wanted to, you could just snatch one of these girls up. Might be a dark thought because we're from America and that shit happens all the time. But the fact that we're in Okinawa, it's like, it was just a normal thing for them. So
to that point, and I'm glad you brought this up, but it was just funny to me how we were all, the six of us, were all out. We went to a bunch of different bars. We had way too much to drink. Most of us. Some of us stayed mildly sober. Yeah. But at the last bar we hit, Bounty, right? Bounty.
Yeah.
We all went our separate ways. Now it's a small bar, so no matter where you're sitting or where you're standing, you could see the whole bar. But instead of sitting in a group, we all kind of separated. Precious was smoking some hookah with a guy she just met and some of his friends. John, you and Arlene were sitting down talking to each other. I'm talking about a specific moment that I remember. You and Arlene were sitting down talking to each other. Hakeem was at a different table with 3 girls. A-Rod was somewhere in the middle. Bouncing around. And I was sitting on the other side of the bar talking to 4 guys. Now, one of the 4 guys kept coming over to me, like getting closer and asking me, do I feel uncomfortable with all these men surrounding me? If I felt uncomfortable, he would tell them that I was with him so that they would leave me alone. Basically saying, I'm his girl, back off. I've never met this man a day in my life. And why would you feel the need to claim me as your own to fend off other men? But at the same token, everybody would look to the other side of the bar where Hakeem was with 3 girls, and they were like, oh my God, he's having the time of his life. Like, he's doing great. Look at him in his element.
That's double standard.
That's the double standard. But then it was like, oh my God, look at Trixie. Is she okay? She's surrounded with 4 guys having a conversation. She can't stop the conversation. She obviously doesn't want to have a conversation with any of them. I need to go save her. And it was just like mind-boggling to me. I had to at one point tell the guy, like, I'm fine if I don't want to talk to anyone. I can simply walk away because I'm not a puppet.
Yeah.
Nor do I belong to anyone. But yeah, that was a really good point you brought up.
Yeah, so it's those double standards where, like you said, we've been raised so much for so long to think a certain way that, I mean, it's the same, argument that people have. It's like, oh, she sleeps around with a bunch of guys, she's a hoe. Versus if a guy sleeps around with a bunch of girls, he's the man.
Right.
And as much as traditional a thought as that might have been, I think those barriers are being broken down today.
Yes, they are.
Because I'm all for people doing whatever they want, however they want, with whoever
they want.
Live your
best life.
With how many evers you want.
Right.
So I think that, it's things like that I'm not an old man, but in my lifetime that I've seen being changed, especially from where you live. Like, we're from Philly. Well, you're from New York, but same shit. It's like we see this culture where it's It's, you know, the whole guys want to sleep with a bunch of girls looking for that one special guy.
Right.
It's that a traditional way of thinking where it's like a woman wants her happily ever after. She wants to find love, and the guy just wants to sleep around and have a bunch of fun. And the more social we're becoming and the more outgoing and open-minded we're becoming, it's like, nah, you have people like Cardi B, you know, we're going to bring her back up again, where it's like she's so herself that people love her even if they hate her, in a sense.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, she's a stripper, she knows, she talks raunchy, but that's who she is. And you can't, like, it's almost to the point where you're breaking down that barrier where it's like, you don't need to be ladylike.
Right.
Just be yourself. And if people have a problem with that, it's like, it is what it is. Stuff like that. So, with that being said, I know you're drinking some water, but with that being said, I know we were talking about the whole work environment and stuff like that with women in power and women in positions of power. A lot of times you hear women talk about, or you hear women having other bosses as women, and they're either, you know, a bitch, or they're like, even men who have women superiors are like, oh, she's such a cunt, or she's such a, you know, whatever.
She's on her period.
Yeah, stuff like that. Do you think women have to be meaner or more aggressive or more authoritarian to get the production that another man would easily get?
So what I think is that, again, this goes back to how we were raised and what's been instilled in us. And it's like, I feel as though that's how it is, that women feel like they need to be more aggressive, more assertive, pull up their pants, you know, higher, just so that they can be considered or be viewed by, you know, their men, you know, their male subordinates as, you know, to get that respect. And I feel as though if I'm going to be your supervisor, your boss, I'm not going to sit here and compare myself to how would a man do this? Like, how am I going to get this respect? I feel as though you should concentrate on being, well, the best version of yourself, but just doing your job. If you're the supervisor for however many people, it's because, I would hope, you deserve the position. You've put in the work. You know what you're doing. That should be enough. You shouldn't. That it
should, but it's
right,
not
it's
always
not
the case, especially.
No, it's not the case. Well, I don't think it's the case at all. Yeah. And I think that's what needs to change. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves. I feel like people are too scared of what other people may think, how other people may react, and that hinders, you know, our growth.
Do you think it's better to be feared or respected?
I think it's better to be respectfully feared.
Okay.
Well, what I mean by that is, like, I would much rather have my subordinates respect me than to just fear me, because, and I put it in, I think of it in terms of at my job. So let's say I'm the head attorney, and you, Jonathan, are my case manager. So I count on you to do, to get, make sure we have all the evidence, obtain all the evidence, submit it in time to the judge, and have everything.
Okay, go ahead. Keep talking.
Have everything ready, for the time of the hearing, right? If you royally fuck up a case and you respect me, I feel like a person that's respected, you would feel more comfortable coming to me saying, hey, I
got you. You're a more approachable person,
right,
rather than somebody who's being feared.
Then so if you feared me, you would be like, fuck, I fucked up, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to get yelled at and or fired. So whatever happens, happens. If she finds out, she finds out. If she doesn't, then, you know, whatever. So I feel it is better to be respected because you're there's more productive, more productivity, and it's just like a better work environment.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, just on the aspect of being approachable more than anything.